Dream game in mind help motivate me. Still something you want to create at some point? Not really. Like, I just kind of have like I have a lot of ideas. Like one thing I am is stupidly creative, right? Like before game dev, it was just novels, and I would write novels all the time, and like I forget what kind of happened. I mean, there was like a point where I was like, because I have to keep creating to just keep getting all the millions of ideas in my head out of me. Otherwise, my dreams get really weird, and I'm like not a happy person if I don't keep creating. But if I do keep creating, it's just joy upon joy, right? So, you know, like the first game I made, like it's kind of it's more abstract than like one dream game. It's more like I see stuff that other games weren't doing, and I'd feel like that would be a good idea. I was like, man, the Wiimote came out and nobody made an umbrella flying game. That's stupid. Like, I would have wanted that among the list of like 20 other games I would want to make. And then so I just when I started learning to make games, I was like, that'll be the first idea, because that feels like, I don't know, it just felt like the first one to do. And because that was Cherry was my first game. I don't know if you've seen it in my info and stuff. And like, when I say Cherry is a dream game I always dreamed about, it was like, I mean, it's hard for me to say that because I have a lot of game ideas and just a lot of ideas for different stuff in general. But like 15 years ago, I kind of thought up the core of that idea, never thinking I would make it. And then 5 years ago, when I decided just to learn dev, because I'd been QA testing in games at the time, I realized, or I thought, well, let me use one of my old ideas as a learning project. And then I realized, oh, I could just build the whole game. and then I just it wasn't 3D and motion controlled or anything, but it was still unique. And I just kind of ran with that. But like, I got like a backlog in my head. Like, I got like a line of 10 games, and they're kind of ordered in the order that I want to complete them moving forward. But depending on how the ideas cook up, ones might come to the front before other ones. But yeah, like as far as motivation goes, I'm just creatively motivated. Like, I can't really exist if I'm not like making something. And I'm good at picking something that's going to stay interesting, because that's one of the main keys. It's like, out of the multiple ideas, what ideas are catchy and I don't forget after time. So if it stays around for 10 years, it might kind of be an idea that would be interesting, right? Kind of catchy to my head. And then I'm pretty good at keeping things interesting for myself and challenging myself, but then also creating a boundary and frame around the ideas so that something actually gets done. Those are the things I would say I'm good at. Yeah, like it's become so kind of normal. I don't really deal with I guess issues of motivation, and people often tell me I'm pretty disciplined. Because I stick to things and get them done, but I don't really think it's discipline. It's more, I just know how to keep it fun, and I don't pick anything that I'm not going to enjoy for like 5 years, 10 years, and if things are veering away that they're not, I'll drop it. But yeah, so basically, nah, it wasn't a dream game. But I do have, and I'm a little more practical when it comes to creativity nowadays too. But I do have like each game I'm building, it's all building up within the same world and building up a collection of assets that'll make the next game easier, or revisiting characters or areas easier, and the overall fidelity will go up. And so there's just like a lot of things I want to make, and certain games or certain ideas I can tell are going to be easier than other ones, are better for my current skill set, or other ones will step ladder me towards other ones better, and I'm trying to like practically line it up. So like, you know, I'm not going to make an RPG as like my first game, right? That'd be forever. Stick to things and get them done. Strands of sharp pain in my brain. A gazillion unfinished projects laying around. Well, I mean, the thing about that too is creativity is kind of different, right? Because I have a gazillion unfinished projects in my head. Because I prototype in here, right? Whether it's game dev or any other kind of creativity. And it's just, I come up with ideas. I might think it's cool. 2 days later, 2 weeks later, 2 months later, I'm like, I just forget about it because it was a stupid idea. It didn't work. Maybe half of it worked and it gets ported over and used in something else. And it's just like that process is internal for me. But I think for some people that's external, right? But when it's out there, we view it as like, oh, look at all these failures or things I wandered off uninterested in. But it's just kind of like, it just might be like, that might be part of how your creativity works, you know? And it's just like the second I'm moving on a project externally, it's been through so many quality checks and so many tests that like I'm not really gonna get moving on something that isn't gonna be finished. Start right away. Low motivation 3 hours or days in. Yeah, I might have an idea and not start it until 10 years later. Right? And by that point, I mean it's been through the paces. That it will at the very least keep my interest to completion, you know. But I just think that's generally like we don't have a strong understanding of how creativity works, and we don't spend a lot of time like kind of picking at it or analyzing it or like I feel like I don't know programming, but I feel like I do understand creativity pretty well, and I think we just don't talk about that a lot or figure that out a lot, you know. A ripe idea. Yeah. Well, it was ripe when you plucked it. You gotta, and that's kind of I say, like, you know, there's things in the oven and I'm letting them cook, see if it smells good, let the fruit grow, see if it gets juicy, like, and let your head play around, and like, you know, it's kind of the same way. It's like when you're programming, you gotta be willing. If you want to learn to program, you gotta be willing to screw up and make mistakes and write bad code. If you want to be creative, you gotta be willing to have ideas that are bad or a waste of time. And I have committed to projects in the past before game dev. Well, I once wrote a novel for 4 years, 5 years, a long time that didn't go anywhere. And there was just one day I was like, okay, I might have spent like a good chunk of my life on this, but it's just not working. Brute forcing is not the way to go. And I was maybe 14, 15, something like that. And that was like the big lesson where it was just kind of like, it's something you gotta like relax and let the flow go and just like watch and observe. Or at least for me, how an idea is happening or forming. Because I tried to brute force that one, and if like whatever wasn't good, I was gonna make good, and it's like did not work, and that was the big lesson on where I learned to listen to myself a little bit more, let the intuition work it out, you know. But I mean, you know, everybody's creativity is different, so it might not be the same for everybody else, but it's a self-discovery thing. Yeah, well, that's a good cop-out answer. It's all about self-discovery.